What makes this melee Hex Mage build so OP? This build has a secret weapon, and that weapon is... no, not the powerful Chakram skills and the amazing hexes at your disposal. It's not even the amazing armor and other passives that skyrocket our elemental damage into the heavens. The secret weapon is... this little steel saber.
Are you sure about that?
Why is this little weak saber so important? Well, it's actually a very special weapon, because it's only one out of two weapons that can carry a very powerful enchantment for Hex Mages, and that enchantment's name is Rainbow Hex. If you take a look at my quick bar, you might notice that there is one important skill missing for every Hex Mage in existence. That's right, it's Jinx, the skill we use to apply hexes. Well, this is where the Rainbow Hex comes in. This amazing enchant actually applies all of our hexes for us, so we can spend more time doing other things like casting chakrams that do insane damage and knock down our foes, leaving openings for us to capitalize on their down state. Let's take a brief look at the equipment and skills we will need to bring this build to its full potential. We can use 4 or 5 points for mana. This is my personal sweet spot. For breakthrough points, we start with the Cabal Hermit and take Shamanic Resonance, which buffs our elemental damage. And remember to grab Infused Wind. This bad boy increases our attack speed and lets us apply hexes with the saber even faster. But it does burn our stamina faster as a result. But this is where the next breakthrough point comes in clutch. The Bloodlust breakthrough skill lets us recover any burnt health, mana, and most importantly, stamina, allowing us to keep Infused Wind running and reducing our downtime significantly. Of course, we will take the usual suspects in this tree like Torment, Rupture, and Lockwell's Revelation for that insane 30% boost to elemental damage when very tired.
Sean, you forgot to mention the Philosopher skill tree for the Leyline Connection breakthrough point, which gives you a constant mana regen effect.
For your faction, you can basically take anyone you prefer for your run, but if you truly want to min-max yourself to the moon, you should take the Heroic Kingdom for that awesome passive skill Alchemical Experiment, which gives you a 15% bonus to all damage. For potions and food, there are many to choose from, but I highly recommend you take Shimmer Potion, which gives us another 15% bonus to all damage. This potion is so crazy strong, it's like adding another Alchemical Experiment or even brains to yourself. And lastly, you could try some Ciezo Savage for extra mana regen. Keep in mind, you do gain mana regen when you are very tired, so this is just an extra icing on the cake. For your armor, you are going to want to use the full Rust Leech set. Each piece boosts some elemental damage and gives us some physical protection resistances, but the negative side of this set is that it basically removes all physical damage you're able to do. Luckily for us though, we don't use any physical damage. In fact, most of our damage comes from elemental damage, so this armor is actually the most OP thing you can use for this build. Let's take a look at each piece individually though. The Rust Leech head boosts lightning damage, the chest piece boosts fire and decay damage, and the boots give us frost damage. All three together have a total mana cost reduction of 45%, which is great, but throw in the mage tent for another minus 15% and you already have a total of minus 60% mana cost reduction. Now that's insane. This lets you stay in the fight for longer with less downtime. Now for our main weapons. We want to use the little saber that we can find at the Weapon Master in Harmattan. We can also pick one up in Levant.
Oh boy!
Now I mentioned there are only 2 weapons that can use the Rainbow Hex. This is one of them, and the other is actually the legacy item from this saber, but it's really not worth trying to get because the normal saber has a slightly faster attack speed than its legacy variant. Moving on to the cool looking chakram we use that goes by the name of Distorted Experiment. This bad boy deals insane multi-elemental damage, which is already boosted from our gear and boons. It's able to knock foes on their ass with ease, and it's an amazing tool to use when fighting multiple enemies at once, which will be often. To get this worthwhile weapon, you first need to find the experimental chakram at the Immaculate Refuge in the top right corner of the Caldera region.
Nope.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
Once you find it, you need to do a short little quest in order to upgrade it, but it's quite easy. And if you are not familiar with this quest, I'm going to leave a link in the description on what to do and where to go to get your chakram firing on all cylinders. Anyway, moving on to the bag, we use the Buzu hide. This is my favorite bag because I don't enjoy dropping mine so I can roll. While I do appreciate the mechanic, I'm just always forgetting my bag behind and I end up in town 5 miles down the road searching for my wallet in order to pay the shopkeeper, realizing that I've just left my bag laying in some mud somewhere. I'm just forgetful like that, so maybe it's just me who has that issue, but either way. For your tent, you want to use the mage tent for that sweet mana reduction buff. Now the main skills we will need are, of course, your 5 main elemental boons. These are always a must for the Hex Mage. Then we need brace and focus. These are important because they give us the ability to cast the chakram skills which we need, and they are chakram pierce, arc, and dance. These are great because they give us not just insane damage, but great impact damage, allowing us to control fights through stability manipulation. We also need brains. This gives us another insane 15% elemental damage, which is just so amazing. To wrap up, we need infused wind, which gives us increased attack speed, letting us hex up the enemy faster. And of course our main Hex Mage skills like torment and rupture. Now we move to the icing on the cake, the enchants. For the head and chest, we use ages. This gives us much needed protection against enemy attacks, and if you're like me and you can't dodge, this is going to help a lot. For the boots, we use flux for that extra movement speed and a little bit of bonus damage. And finally, the main enchant we absolutely need to turn this build into a well-oiled machine is Rainbow Hex. This enchant allows us to inflict Scorched, Chill, Curse, Doom and Haunted Hex. It also gives us a tiny attack speed increase. Keep in mind, this enchant has some restrictions placed on it with regards to where and when you can use this enchant. You need to do it in Enmarker Forest in the foggy season, and said season kicks in at around 20 days. You will know because the forest will have a foggy hue that lets you know it's time to enchant. You also might notice little purple clouds appear all around the area, so you might want to keep that in mind and plan around that time to get this enchant going. The basic combat rotation would look like this. Make sure all of your boons are active. That includes infused wind and focus. Cast Chakram Arc. Use the saber auto attack till you proc the 5 hexes. Then you can cast torment and finish off with a rupture. An alternative loop you could try is something like this. You could open up with chakram dance, then you could do chakram arc and pierce. Then you can just rotate between the pierce and the arc. This is a safe play that you could use if you are getting overwhelmed by many foes and you don't want to get too close yet with the fear of being backstabbed by one enemy while you're busy swinging your saber at another. But try to make some of your own rotations which play to your own personal strengths and style. And if you like Hex Mages, I've got a really awesome long range Hex Mage build you might be interested. You can check it out on screen now.